Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things 33 common sense lens. And you know, it's been a major issue with comic book fans for a very long time of things being not adapted to the appropriate source material. We can talk about all of the missteps that happened with several different variations of the Fantastic Four movies over the years, or just general comic book adaptations. Obviously, we can look to the modern era of Disney Marvel out there and see what kind of abominations they've actually done to a lot of those characters. Captain Marvel, the Eternals, several others out there. But needless to say, boys and girls, at a time when all comic book fans have ever asked for, and honestly general audiences have ever asked for, is good storytelling and an absolute, sticking to the source material, sticking to the spirit and the essence of it, and making the characters look like they do in the actual comic books that we've all seen and known and loved for absolutely ever. Well, for all of the issues that we've had with Disney Marvel over there and all the different screw-ups that they've done, one section of Marvel out there seems to be absolutely doing it right and is actually giving the fans what they want. And guess what? Color us shocked there, boys and girls. When they get involved in character creation and they get involved in storytelling decisions, they actually do a strange thing that no one has ever heard of and no fan has ever suggested in the world. They actually check the source material. They actually look back at the comics and try to make them comic book accurate. And that explains exactly why this is such a success, because Marvel Rivals has been out there absolutely crushing it in the numbers, and ladies and gentlemen, now we know why, because strange concept, they're actually giving the fans what they want and are being accurate to the source material. As you can see from the headline over here at Bounding Into Comics, Marvel Rivals devs say comic book accuracy is a top priority when designing new heroes, to the point where they'll even bring in a comic book historian when needed. Yes, boys and girls, what a strange concept, what a wild idea out there to actually try to make things comic book accurate so you can actually build on the fan base that has been built into these IPs for generations. So we're going to check out this article from Bounding Into Comics, getting all the juicy details of exactly what he said and what their process is for introducing new characters to the Marvel's Rivals universe. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we just crossed 1,600. We're on our way to 17, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Have you tried out Marvel Rivals? Have you been enjoying the game? Do you appreciate the fact that the comic book, they are being actually comic book accurate and giving you beautiful characters that everybody knows and loves? Let us know what you think about all that in the comment section down below. And if you'd like to support the channel, please check out the links in the description as well. And also, let us know if after hearing this kind of stuff from the creators of Marvel Rivals, would this encourage you more to play the game if you haven't already? Let us know what you think about that. All right, from Bounding Into Comics and our dear sweet Spencer McCooley, and offering a refreshing example of source material understanding at a time when the concept has been all but completely tossed to the side, NetEase Games has confirmed that when it comes to designing characters for Marvel Rivals, one of the top priorities is ensuring that their digital depictions remain faithful to their comic book counterparts. I know, what a strange concept. Wild, I know, right? Wild. Batgirl, anyone? From alternate costumes like the Invisible Woman's Malice outfit or the Star-Spangled Avengers Captain AIM America suit AIM, to the inclusion of lesser-known heroes like Jeff the Landshark, though that guy was so overpowered in the beginning it was ridiculous, or Cloak and Dagger, which I like that, to small aesthetic details like Magneto's personal signature, as featured on each character's respective in-game profile pages, being written in Jonathan Hickman's wholly original Krakowian language. Marvel Rivals shows an impressive and generally welcome amount of respect for the eponymous publisher's nearly 90-year history, from the ups and downs and to everything in between. And I love that. That's why this thing is so successful. It's a fun game to play. It's not too crazy. It's not too hard of a concept to get into. If you can get a group of friends together, it's a lot of fun. And honestly, like I said, this is what people want. They want beautiful, well-designed characters that are a proper representation of the source material that they've all known and loved. And NetEase is giving it to us. This actual section of Marvel is doing that. It might just be a licensing deal, but hey, it's better than what we've been getting for a long time. Star Wars Outlaws, anyone? But far from this presentation being the rogue result of a few comic book loving team members, Marvel Rivals executive producer Danny Koo says the idea of following the original stories was treated as a core aspect of the game design philosophy. I know, what a crazy concept, giving people what they actually want in a video game. I know, being comic book accurate, strange concept. Speaking to PC Gamer during the currently ongoing 2025 Games Developer Conference regarding NetEase's games approach to selecting the game's roster, Koo explained, roughly 70% of the roster is made up of your greatest hits, like well-known heroes, Iron Man, Cap, etc. And then we threw in some curveballs. You might not even know who they are, and to make the roster more interesting. I mean, honestly, how many of y'all read a Jeff the Shark comic book out there? How many of y'all have even seen Jeff the Shark appear in comics? Needless to say, that was one of the first characters they threw in to the very first season. For better or worse, for all of the rest of us that had to go up against Jeff the Shark. What we do is, whenever we have a character, we'll come up with a character background, who they are, and the comic references that appear in what they do. The comic references! I know, right? And we'll hand it over to the design team. Then they will come up with some ideas, and we'll both agree on what their baseline is. When we feel good about the hero, we go into production. What a crazy idea of not just greenlighting somebody's stupid idea and wasting a whole bunch of money designing something and moving forward with it. Boy, I think Disney Marvel could learn a little something from NetEase Marvel. Don't you think, boys and girls? And far from this attention to comic book accuracy only playing a role in a given character's visual and gameplay design, Koo also noted that the source material commitments also extend to their presentation to players. In other words, rather than trying to change the character to conform to their popular image, quote unquote, according to the Access Media, NetEase Games instead invites players to learn what their actual image is. Then the marketing team is like, okay, how do we present this to new players that might not know whose world this is? Do we need to explain it? Recalled the EP. We have a comic historian come in. They literally will hire an outside advisor who knows the comic books and knows the source material, who knows the stories, just to come in and make sure that they're not missing anything and making sure that it's in line with the characters that fans have known and loved for years. Why no? Wild concept. This is why they are succeeding, and so much of the Marvel slop coming from the television and the movie department has failed miserably. Like I said, Eternals, anyone? And in applying the sense of celebrating comic book to the roster's future, Koo told PC Gamer that rather than just throwing every character into the game and allowing for more than a few to share similar kits, Marvel Rivals would instead focus on making sure each playable hero or villain was unique in their own way. So there you go. You know, it would be kind of silly to have a Superman and Sentry in the same game because they're very similar characters. Obviously, I know that's from the DC universe, but still, you kind of get the comparison. You know, there's a few comic book characters out there who have very similar powers and very similar setups over the years. It's not anything surprising. It's just bound to happen eventually, but needless to say, it's nice to have a little mix-up. Nothing is out of the question for now, he admitted in regards to potential roster picks, but we focus on making sure the characters are distinct from each other. For example, Hulk and Red Hulk roughly have the same silhouette, so we may not want to do that one. Their abilities have to be as distinct as well because we have all kinds of players. Some players love to be strategists, some players like to drive into action, and some players just like to watch other people play. So we have to tailor to every kind of player. Obviously talking about the people that like to live stream it and people watching the live streams and stuff like that. So that is good. At current, Marvel Rivals is currently wrapping up its second season of content, and while the games most recently saw the addition of each individual members of the Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic, the Invisible Woman looking smoking, the Human Torch, and the Thing currently remains out on who just might be joining the fight in season 3. And I imagine they're going to be some beautiful characters that are very accurate and representative to their comic book origins and to the characters that we've all known and loved, and that's a good thing. That's a fabulous thing. And then of course to give us gorgeous skins like this that make all the gamer guys go, yay, and all the ladies go, that's a nice outfit. I need to try cosplaying that. I think it's a wonderful and great thing, and this is how you succeed. This is why Marvel Rivals absolutely crushed and destroyed Overwatch in any way, shape, or form. When Overwatch was going down the path of a lot of diversity, inclusion, and equity, here you have NetEase coming out here with Marvel Rivals going, no, we're going to stick to the source material. We're going to give you beautiful, gorgeous characters that you're going to actually enjoy looking at and playing, and then guess what? They're going to be source material and accurate, and that's how you succeed. We've said it a million times on this channel before. You make the fans happy, and we will make you rich, and Marvel Rivals has done a very good job of that. They give you accurate characters according to the source material with the right backgrounds, with the right information, with the right set of powers, and of course the right look. And with video games being very much a visual medium out there, you need to have beautiful characters and good designs that appeal to all varieties of tastes out there, and the majority of the audience want beautiful characters, which is why this has succeeded and why it has done so well. And now we know the source behind all of it, because if anything, they understand that being comic book accurate is very important to making this succeed. And boy, what a refreshing breath of fresh air out there, and considering a world that has told us that no, we're going to do a modern remake of everything, we're going to reimagine it, we're going to be like the Most High, we're going to remake it in our own image, and it's going to be better, and you're going to love it. And even though it is blown up in their faces time and time again, at least it seems like somebody out there with the rights to the Marvel brand understands what audiences and fans want, and that's why Marvel Rivals will continue to succeed as they continue to give us good quality characters that everybody knows and love. At the end of the day, this is all fans have ever wanted, and I know, what a strange concept. Stick to the source material and you actually succeed. Good job, Marvel Rivals, and everybody else over at NetEase. Keep up the good work, and people will continue to support you and make you more successful than anything else in the Marvel universe, that's for sure.